Hello everyone, Griffin War here. Welcome to my little update on my critical discharge witch, which using every elemental in the discharge. And I have already made a video on this character before when I played on Rampage, but now the Rampage have ended. I have access to sorry, more powerful item. Oh man, more powerful item than I had before, and that means I have a little bit more survivability than before, and I have a little bit more critical hit chance and more damage than before. I'm gonna show these changes. I did some very minor changes in the passive skill tree, but the passive skill tree is fine if you ask me. It's working pretty well. If I have all my charges up, I have almost 30k damage in one, and that's not counting the critical. If you're counting in the one I do when I crit an enemy, then it will be, I think it's doing about 50,000 damage. You can see I just one hit everything. But perhaps not bosses, and I need some little bit more better gear to pump up the damage to a even more ridiculous level. I'm not gonna stay here all day. I'm actually gonna talk what I did with this character. And I want to say this character is cheap to make actually. So here's my gear again. This is the one I had in Rampage League. It's this dagger. I want to say this is one of the best you can use. It even can give you mana when you kill an enemy, which actually are pretty useful, and it increase the area of effect, the area of the explosion. This is the same shield. It is one thing I could upgrade. I could get some more spell damage and more crit chance on this one, but it have a very high energy shield. That's the reason I have it. But this is something I definitely can upgrade to get more damage and more crit chance. Then this is the same as before. Now I actually have access to my dream fragment. This one is amazing. You really need this one. This one is a little bit of the more expensive items you need. It increases your mana regen, that's all good, and it gives you resistance, but the most important thing, it lets you not get frozen anymore. You are immune to get frozen solid. And that's a very important thing. But that is easy to happen when you do using Chaos Inoculation. The cold damage is based on your life, so when I play this character in the Rampage League, I actually get frozen for like 10 seconds. If I get frozen for like 10 seconds, and then they froze me again, and then I died. And this only difference between this armor and the other one I had is this one is a 5-link. You don't need a 5-link, you can use a 4-link, that's working just fine. The only thing I use a 5-link for is so I can use concentrated effect, which boosting the damage a lot. Then I highly recommend using Life Leech in this. You can swap Life Leech and use it on your Ice Spear instead, which are this setup here. Instead of Spell Echo, you can use Ice Spear instead. Life Leech instead. To get you need a way to get your shield back. This is the same gloves as before, and there are some random gems socket in here. I actually had now this 4-link, so I can use increased direction and what was it? Oh, I had it wrong there. There it goes. Blood Rage and increased direction, but that thing actually helps. Yeah, okay, that's last longer. So that's pretty much the mode, and then I still using Doriani's Inventation because of the good resistance and protection it gives, and it even gives the cold damage literally as life, and that's an important thing. It increased the skill effect duration, that's a bonus on it. So that's another bad thing, that's a good thing. And it even increases the chance to freezing enemies. And the passive skill tree, it's pretty much the same as before. I have sacrificed some even more survivability. I want to get to Pact of the Servant, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes there. But I wanted instead to get assassination before that, because I have figured out I need some more critical hit chance. And it would be awesome if I could get another in a frenzy counter. For one counter extra, give you like 2,000-3,000 extra in damage. So that's a very good thing. And this one is actually really good. Gives you a little bit mana regen, spell damage. Because spell damage is nothing. It's something I don't have a lot of in this build here. So spell damage increases damage a lot as well. And I'm now actually using Arctic Armor. The Arctic Armor boosts your defensive, because the biggest weakness is physical damage. And Arctic Armor make you much more survivable. As you can see, I don't take nearly as much damage as I did without it, as I do without it. The only problem is I do not constantly crits enemy, and crits are the thing that kills the enemy and makes me can do it again and again and again and never stop. So I need more crit chance. That's the main thing. Crit multiplier. So far I pretty much one hit everything, so crit multiplier is not that important, I want to say. As you can see, I just wreck everything. It's incredibly fun to play, but as I said before, this is a squishy build, so you can take a lot of damage. You can't do that. So you are a glass cannon. But you can sacrifice some of the damage for more survivability. But who wants to do that? I think you can play this build in hardcore if you are really careful. But one mistake and you, by mistake, discharge at a reflect enemy and you are dead, pretty much. This build can be used as a pure Ice Spear build, because the Ice Spear do pretty good damage, as you can see. So if you're fighting against the enemy who had Elemental Reflect, cast some Ice Spears on them. You can use Freezing Pulse as well. Would work just fine. You can probably use Flame Blast with this build, because I don't have any specific notes for just Discharge. So you can use pretty much our AoE spell you can think about. But I want to say it again, you can take a lot of damage. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you have any question about the build, just ask them in the comments and I'm gonna do my best to answer them. And take care, everyone. Oh, wait a second. Before that, I just gonna tell... A 5-link, the Voldus Protector costs, like, I think it was about 3 exalts, so that's a pretty expensive piece. As I said earlier, you don't really need it, just get a 4-link, and it's a pretty cheap to get a 4-link. By the way, thanks for watching everyone, have a nice day.